Hi, my name is Phil. I'm the district wildlife biologist. I want to talk with you today about black bears and moose. Uh, they are something that we need to consider because we live and we work in bear and moose country. Um, they're large animals and uh, they have potential to injure people and cause damage to property. So we want to talk with you about them today. Um, I want to share with you some general principles about black bears and moose and their habitat, talk with you about safety, individual personal safety, but also preparedness, and also talk with you about the management that we have in place for working in black bear and moose country, and then the management that involves the response to incidents or actions, incidents or observations that are reported to us. Um, and you have a role in all of those things. So I want to talk with you today about all those things. Black bears and moose, they're both very, very large. They're strong. Uh, they can move quickly and somewhat unpredictable. Really, the the big hazards for dangers for you on a day-to-day basis still are uh, the getting to and from work, and then driving from work to the work site that you have. Um, Bee stings, dog bites, those are much more common um, hazards out there than black bears or moose. So, in perspective, uh, these things are rare, they're uncommon, unexpected. However, there is potential, so we want to make sure that you're aware uh, as well. Um, Bears are and moose are common on the district because of the vegetation that we have here. It's prime habitat for bears and moose on the district, anywhere below alpine to down to the lowest elevations on the district. In fact, but the bunkhouses all are in prime bear habitat, and the abundance of human food and garbage uh, exacerbates the situations with bears. Moose are unpredictable, they range wide, and they can be aggravated when people come in close proximity, but also aggravated by dogs. So it's really important to know those things. Um, how do you defend yourself, or how do you respond if you come in in close proximity with each of those? With bears, you want to stand your ground. You want to be pretend you're the bigger bear. You want to yell, make noise. If you're with others, group up and make yourself look like a large pack. If you have a backpack on or a coat, open that up and hold it above your head. Make yourself look bigger. And you want to let the bear know this is your spot. But you also want to back away slowly. Face the bear. Don't turn and run. If a bear charges you and knocks you down, you got to fight back. With moose, it's different. They will charge you if you're too close, and they exhibit behavior, but that'll all happen very quick. They're very fast. So if a moose runs at you, you need to turn and run. You need to run fast, and you need to get behind an object. If a moose knocks you down, don't fight back. Get up and run. Get behind a large object. If there are dogs around, and you're working, say a visitor's walking by with a dog and there's a moose up the trail, or they say there's a moose nearby, that really needs to be conveyed to that person that they need to take the dog and get out of there. Go somewhere else. This is not your trail today. Moose do not like dogs. So uh, those are some basic general principles. We've provided written resource materials for you that you can look at in more depth. There's information on the internet about it. Colorado Parks and Wildlife website has good information about how to defend yourself or how to conduct yourself if you find yourself in close proximity. Well, how would that happen? Well, we've established trails, campgrounds, roads, uh, these areas right along streams, seeps, river corridors, uh, down in the bottom of the valleys where we have prime habitat for moose and bears. They like moist areas, areas like aspens. They like willow drainages, the bottom of drainages. That's where these animals can be found, and it's easy, or it could be easy, to come in close proximity as you come around the corner of a trail that's in dense vegetation, and there's a moose or there's a bear. So that's how those situations can arise. And even if you're not the one that encounters that, if you notice that someone, a visitor or the public, is walking up that way, you need to stop and make that contact with those people. Give them an opportunity to get out of there. The other issue with bears is they're attracted to food and garbage. In all of our campgrounds and many of our dispersed sites, we have food storage containers, food lockers. We really encourage people to use those, to the point where if they're not, they're in violation of a food storage order. If you happen to be camping in those areas, use those. Yes, they can also store those items inside a vehicle. If they're motorcycle or bike camping, they can work with the host to find a, a storage shed where they could put those materials for the night, or use the food storage containers that are provided. It's really important that we use those things because we need to be vigilant about maintaining clean conditions. These are leave no trace principles, and they apply in bear and in black bear country. So uh, if you encounter someone and they are not in compliance, you can contact them and work with them. You can contact an LEO who will issue them a violation, or our law enforcement officer will issue a violation. We're happy to do that. We're happy to provide support for you in that way. There's management plans that we've written for black bears and moose. And the plans talk about awareness, education, signage, uh, food storage requirements in the case of bears. And they also talk about reporting observations or incidents that you make. These communications are really critical for successful management, and you have a role. Your role as the field going person is, if you have an observation about a bear or a moose, or if someone comes and contacts you, say a visitor, it's important that you provide that information in a timely fashion. We have forms available for you to use. Use those forms, be as thorough as possible, but know that what's more important probably, besides getting a contact information from the people that make those observations, is get that information to us as soon as possible. The timeliness is critical. If there's a bear or a moose on a trail and someone takes 2 or 3 days to report it, or even several hours or the end of the day, that could mean that someone else comes in contact with that animal that isn't as prepared, that isn't as educated. So it's really important that timely response there, and that your role is to provide that information, and then you can move on with your day. You can do whatever else you've been assigned for the day. But getting that information in is really important. Um, there's the forms, but if you're not able to fill out a form and there is clear potential for danger to life or property, go ahead and use the radio, use your cell phone or satellite phone, make that contact with your supervisor or with the people that are provided on that form, me or Shelley Grail, and get that information going. That starts the clock for us to have the appropriate response. We like to take care of these things when the potential for further before further danger or harm is escalated. Uh, in many cases, again, what we want is for you to conduct yourself with situational awareness, using leave no trace practices and principles, particularly with respect to bears, um, and know that there is a process that you're part of for communicating uh, information, and that an appropriate response will be coming. Um, Take a second and talk about a couple topics that often come up. Bear spray. Bear spray is not authorized on the clock. Um, we don't have the track record of harmful encounters to warrant the training and the certification required for employees to carry bear spray. It's a very uh, laborious process to get certified to conduct it. You have to have annual refresher training, and you have to be trained by a certified trainer. Um, Also, canisters have to be stored in a sealed container in vehicles when you're traveling from the office out to the work site. For those reasons, we just say no to carrying bear spray on the clock. Obviously, no weapons. That's a violation of the Forest Service Manual as well, and that's a term for being laid off or fired. Food storage containers. What are they? They're readily available. The district has plenty for crews. We use hard-sided food storage containers. We don't endorse the soft-sided containers because they're crushable and the contents can leak out. And then we're not hanging food anymore. It just hasn't worked in the past, and so we've just said only food storage containers. You can also put those items in a vehicle, a crew vehicle, but I don't recommend that for overnight use because they could cause, if bear breaks into the vehicle, it causes damage to the vehicle. We have bears now that don't need to smell food. They just need to see a tent. They need to see a backpack or a vehicle, and uh, they have developed the relationship between those items and a potential food reward or garbage reward. So putting those items in a vehicle is probably your last resort. Um, there's some real basic information, some general principles about being safe, about the animals themselves, what makes them dangerous. Um, there's information that I've provided you, how to conduct yourself, communicate, and what the actions are for bear and moose management on the district, um, the need for timely incident response, um, and your role in that action plan. Um, be situationally aware out there, leave no trace, and be a sounding board and a message board to the visitors that you contact out there and partners that we're with. And you'll have a safe, successful summer working here and living here in black bear and moose country.